All right, we are live. I am so excited for what we are talking about today. So, welcome, amazing woman. I am so excited to be talking about, like I said, today's topic is just absolutely something that is near and dear to my heart. It has been such a common theme in my life and in so many of the amazing women I've worked with. And yeah, we definitely need to talk about this way more often. So I'll kick it off. Have you ever been called intimidating? Oh, yes. If so, you will love what I'm talking about today. But even if it's never happened to you, or maybe it was like a one-time thing, it doesn't matter because you are going to learn a lot about why not and what that particular energy is all about and how to use it. Because today I am talking about how to shift your power from intimidating to authentic by embracing your inner alpha woman. Oh, yeah. Those alpha females, they get a bad rap because that term is actually used incorrectly. And I'll explain what that is too. But today it's all about understanding and owning that power for impact and influence instead of intimidation. So stay tuned. Now, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you get more amazing content like this. And if you are new to my channel, let me introduce myself. I'm Stacy Rasky, Iraq War veteran, badass biker chick, best-selling author, speaker, but most importantly, I am a soulful success coach and leadership mentor for high-achieving women who want to shift from intimidating and imposter to authentic alpha woman, elevating their impact, influence, and income by leading with soul. So juicy. So let's get into today's content. Now, like I said, intimidating, kind of being called intimidating, that was one of those things that started happening to me actually as early as high school. I remember that being getting that feedback. And it was really interesting. It happened to me a lot actually when I was in the Army and in college, especially. And I really tried to understand why it was happening when I was younger. You know, I was like, okay, is it because of my looks? Is it because of my attitude? Because I'm smart or driven? Maybe I'm too intense or too social or too confident. And I couldn't figure it out. Like what one thing was it? You know, because it could be any of those things, right? Like it could be, who knows what I'm triggering in somebody else, right? But no matter what it was, I remember I still was affected by it. You know, on the surface, sure, I'd own it. I'd be like, well, cool, you know, that's great. I'm intimidating. Clearly you have a problem, not me, right? Like I almost wearing it kind of like a badge of honor. You know, it's not me, it's them. But subconsciously, it was still a form of rejection in the way that I was interpreting it, like a negative judgment on, you know, who I was being. And I remember how that would still trigger a little bit of my inner people pleaser, right? Like that part of me that was like, okay, clearly me doing me and being me is not okay. And so over time, I noticed I would start holding back a little bit, you know, just kind of like what I would call like just a little bit of editing, you know, a little bit of self-editing, you know, not stepping into my full power or my full Stacy, and even occasionally playing kind of what I call like the good girl, you know, where you're playing nice so others don't feel bad. Drop a comment if you know what I'm talking about. Either you've had that, you know what that experience is, even if it's not in the context of intimidating, but just you being you, somehow didn't get the best response. And so you found yourself over time like behaving a little bit differently, and we do, like, obviously we don't have control over other people's feelings, but it's like, oh, I don't want to make them uncomfortable, which of course is total bullshit, right? Like, it's like we can't control that stuff, like whether someone else feels bad or, is intimidated by us in many ways, but all the patterns still played out, they really did. So let's break it down. We break it down. What's going on? Oh, hey, Tracy, Maria. So good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. As we go through today, for those of you who are joining live, definitely drop your comments and questions in. I will get to them at the end, and throw in hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, and I will definitely respond to your comments and questions as later on. So, like I said, let's break down what's going on here. So, first of all, as I said, the common definition for alpha woman or alpha female is actually kind of mind-blowing here, and it supports this false paradigm that we're getting sucked into, this program. So the common definition is actually an alpha female is a powerful and successful woman, often in a leadership role. Alpha females are often described as intimidating by both men and women. Super juicy. But what is interesting is that is not an alpha woman. It's not. And I will explain later what it means to actually be an alpha woman. But if you are intimidating, you are not an alpha woman. So share in the comments if the definition that I just gave you, if that was what you kind of always thought of, when someone says alpha woman, is that what you thought? Or did you kind of intuitively know, what, I think alpha woman's a little bit different? So share with me, was that your definition, or did you believe it was something else for alpha woman? So the reason that's such a common definition is because we've got this social and cultural paradigm that somehow, it's so odd. It says that if you're smart and funny and talented and love to learn and confident and well-spoken, driven, beautiful, cool, successful, and on and on and on, that yes, it's a sign you have a lot of personal power, but because of this kind of weird paradigm we have, it actually causes negative feedback. Like, again, from men and women, like there's this negative feedback we get, of course, as women, these messages that are constantly reinforcing you cannot be, do, or have it all. It just blows my mind. But I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right? Like there's this weird, I don't know, underlying, it's almost like this like subconscious messaging, again, this paradigm or programming that's beneath the surface that's always running, that is like, we want you to be super empowered woman and super successful, but not too much, and there's just, okay, and if you are too much to all of any of those things, right, we get shit from other women. The guys are like, I don't want to deal with her. She's a bitch, or she's intimidating, or, she's too whatever, right? Like we get these stories playing out. And I mean, feel free to throw in the comments if you've experienced that, even if it's outside of the context of being called intimidating, that basically you doing you and being successful got some negative response from people in your life, other women, men, whatever that is. And so, we've got this thing saying, nope, you can't be, do, have it all. Only just enough. And so success, I've found, this is so common, that success becomes an either or kind of thing. Like, you can't be successful in all areas. And I see it all the time, right? Like, oh, okay, I can be really successful in my business. The finances are going really good, but that means I can't have a really loving, balanced, supportive, healthy relationship that's deep and nourishing. And if the relationship starts going well, guess what? The financial or business starts to plummet because I can't have both. I can't do both, right? Like, I'm not allowed. Or I can't be really healthy and take amazing care of myself and have a thriving business. It becomes really either or. So we learn at an early age to dim our light just a bit, right? So others won't be uncomfortable. And so we don't get rejected. Because, right, if we're too awesome, other people can't handle it, they might reject us. And so we start to wear that mask, right? It's why you struggle with feeling like an imposter sometimes, especially around success, because it's challenging this belief system. And there's so much of our subconscious that drives us to really avoid rejection. Now, logically, of course, we have no control over the thoughts and feelings of other people. And obviously, their triggers are theirs. It's their stuff. But, and there's always a really big, juicy, big but. How people respond to us is a mirror to our inner world. So it says a lot about how you're showing up if we're triggering someone else. And your power, basically who you're being and how you're showing up, can definitely influence how people respond to you. It's why a lot of, even in preparation for today, I was talking about like shifting from intimidation to influence. It's a very different dynamic in how you use your power. Because they're responding to your power and your energy. Of course, your power, this amazing power, it's naturally there. It's just who you are, right? That amazing level of awesome. But what's triggering them is what's going on beneath the surface. It's what's not obvious. It's the energy and the emotion. And we'll get to the emotion piece, but we'll start with the energy. Your energy, when you're in this power state, is actually unbalanced. You're intimidating to whomever because you're too much in your masculine energy without the balance of your feminine energy. So, it's a shame we don't have better language for the masculine feminine energy. Again, masculine and feminine energy has nothing to do with gender, nothing in your physical, anything like that. It's really about the balance, like yin and yang, right? We've got to balance of things out. It's everything in our lives, everything in nature, everything's about a balance. So the masculine energy is all about action and effort and independence. Right? So you're like, well, yeah, of course, when I'm in that awesome alpha energy, right? Like you're driven and you're like being super achiever and successful, right? Like awesome. But when your feminine energy, which is your feeling, your authenticity, your trust, your connection, when that feminine energy is walled off, you can come across as inauthentic. If anybody's ever felt that about you, like, sometimes it feels, they might say you're like cold or disconnected. But honestly, the most common interpretation of that when you're in that energy, but it's over on the masculine side, is just intimidating. That's the big one, right? So it's your intense masculine energy is triggering their emotional baggage. But what's interesting is it's feedback on who you are being. And that's what's so cool. It's just by a few little tweaks and adjustments, you can bring more of all of that showing up in the full power with the balanced energy, and it changes everything. Because when you've walled off the feminine energy, that is like being guarded. And the way masculine and feminine energy works is the masculine protects the feminine. The feminine is the feeling, the emotional, and the masculine surrounds that. And so it creates those walls. And so it's almost like you've got to break through the masculine to get to the feminine emotional part, right? If we're guarded, if we don't have trust issues, if, we've got some trauma and some baggage and some wounds, right? We're gonna have some walls. And it comes off as being guarded as much as walled off. And that can trigger someone else's walls. So if they have their own baggage and trauma, right, like their walls, they're going to see that and feel that in you. And so it kind of triggers them like, ooh, they're guarded, they're inauthentic, so I'm going to put up my guard. And so they're going to be, basically you now have two people that are emotionally unavailable in this dynamic, in whatever the situation is, even in business. So basically your energy and your confidence is actually diminishing them in some way. And I know that's not your intention. It's not. It's just how it's being perceived. It's just the energy you're bringing to the table. And if you're an achiever, yes, high achiever, a lot of your confidence comes from the validation of your successes. It's just the dynamics, the relationship achievers have with success is, we need a lot of that external validation. It's just the way it works. So, we've got this success cycle fueling the confidence, and so we need it. So again, you're adding some intensity to that masculine energy and that drive. And so, yeah, it comes across as intimidating and inauthentic, which for those of you who are entrepreneurs and are struggling to call in those clients and have consistent income and all of these things going on consistently for your success, that's a big piece. It's a big piece. However, this is the good stuff. A real alpha woman, her confidence does not come from anything external. It is so strong that her confidence lifts and inspires confidence in others. And that is why a true alpha woman is not intimidating. She is influencing. And her empathy and emotional intelligence is actually her superpower, leading with authenticity and trust while being open to connect and collaborate. And that is a powerful way to be, right? Like anchoring the success of not only yourself, but those around you. And that is an amazing leader. So rather than commanding attention, her power and energy shifts the weight of the room just by her being there, so that her presence anchors the room. And when she speaks, people listen. When she's there, others are lifted. And when she leaves, everyone feels it. And like I said, she leads simply by the influence of her power and presence, bringing out the best in others. And that is really freaking awesome. Really freaking awesome. Would that feel amazing for you to step into that, to step in, from that being intimidating or struggling with that inauthenticity or feeling like an imposter, and shifting into true alpha woman? I mean, like radiating power and confidence from within in a way that it just influences everyone to be better. That's what calls in those clients or calls in those opportunities or gets those people to listen to you when you are sharing your wisdom and expertise in any situation. It's also what helps powerfully shift your relationships, because again, you're showing up in a totally different way. Totally different way. So now let's chat about how to shift your power from intimidating to authentic. So if you're still dimming your light, wearing the mask, playing a role, feeling like an impostor, feeling inauthentic, right? All of those are just symptoms of all the stuff that we've been talking about today. And if you are, and then you've got to decide to be all in, right? You got to be like all in, and that can kind of trigger people, right? Like you just bring all the energy. Like I'm going to say, okay, guess what? I've been wearing the mask. I've been kind of playing the good girl. Maybe I've been dimming my lights. Now I'm going to say, all right, I'm turning on full alpha power, and here we go. And sometimes that can be a bit too much, and that can actually cause a bit of a backfire. So I just kind of want to warn you. If you're just like, oh my gosh, girl, you just spoke the most amazing stuff, and now I'm going to step into my alpha, and people are used to you kind of at a certain level, and you're just going to be full on. I'm just preparing you. It may trigger some people who are just not used to it. So just giving you warning. So, it's good to know. So how do you embrace your alpha, right? All right. So most important, it comes from a strong relationship with you. It's all about the woman in the mirror, right? Showing up with a completely full cup, owning your identity, your energy, your power, showing up whole. Almost all the women I've worked with struggle with fully embracing their power, because that means loving and accepting the parts of yourself that you've been rejecting, right? We've all got that shadow. We've all got those traumas, those things, the anger, the resentment, the guilt, the shame, right? All that stuff, all that shit we carry around all the time. So it means breaking down those internal walls, the compartmentalizing yourself, right? Because we got those little parts we just lock away and hide. Like, nope, nobody's going to see there. Nothing to see here. But it's always there, and people can feel that disconnect and those hidden parts of you, like that something's hidden, right? That's that inauthenticity piece. So breaking down those internal walls and it's those breaking down the internal walls is what you need to do in order to allow the real authentic you to show up, right? Like we've got to eliminate the compartments. And that means balancing your badass, right? Like really owning that power. And you got to balance all that badass energy, rock your rebel, because again, that's a lot of your power and strength. Embrace your alpha and fully own your power. You got to step into that space. And that means integrating and aligning all of you, embracing all that stuff inside you that you're still rejecting. Yeah. So, if you've ever tasted your personal power and you want to embody your full, amazing, authentic alpha, and you are ready to lean in to do that work, because I just said, right, like the solution, build that relationship with yourself. A lot of times easier said than done. And so that does require a lot of work, and it makes it a lot easier to have guidance and support. So if you're ready to lean in and do that work, to allow that to happen, I invite you to a very special opportunity. Very special. I invite you to apply for my Embrace Your Alpha program. 3 months, totally customized, high level of support, intensive program for women like you. This is an exclusive opportunity because this is one of the rare times I am open to working with women of all leadership levels, not just entrepreneurs. So for those of you who are like, oh my gosh, wait, seriously? That is amazing. And there are only 10 spots. And this opportunity is only open for 2 weeks because we start on March 15th. Like I said, this is one of the rare times that I'm opening up to any woman. This is amazing. And it's definitely going to be by application. And I don't know when I'll be offering this Embrace Your Alpha again. So if you are interested in applying, you're just going to go to stacyraske.com/embraceyouralpha, and I will include this link above and below, so you can click on there, see a little bit more of the overview of the details. But the big thing is you're going to apply, and if your application is accepted, I will get back to you within 24 hours with a link to schedule a quick chat just to make sure everything's in alignment and we're a good fit and you're going to be a good fit for the program. And obviously this is curating an intimate group because there's only 10 spots. I want to make sure everyone is a good fit together as well. And this is high support, high impact, powerful transformation over the next 90 days for these women like you who are ready to embrace your alpha. Like I said, again, stacyraske.com/embraceyouralpha for the application. And I am so excited for this next level shift in really owning your power, embracing your alpha, and shifting from intimidating to authentic. All right, so now is the time to go through and check out all of these amazing comments and see if there's any questions through here. And let's see here. Yes. Oh, Kelly, someone said they were terrified of me in business, and I was in shock. Yes, absolutely. That happens so often. Hi, Shannon. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Sure. Everything I was being unsuccessful, even when I was being unsuccessful in some things, still getting people telling you you're intimidating and get negative feedback. That is so common, so common. So yes, I will definitely stay tuned and continue giving, answering questions and giving feedback and support to all the amazing ahas and insights for those of you who are catching this on the replay and even just watching this again later, because I dropped some major information today. This is some really good stuff. And there's not a lot of people talking about this. Literally like very few people are talking about this. And this isn't, not just about balancing the masculine and feminine energy. This is also about integrating other aspects of yourself as well. Like this is addressing your power in a holistic way, but also approaching it in a way that's still supportive of the truth of who you are. Like we're not changing who you are. One of my clients, we had to just find a different way to use her masculine energy. Yes, we incorporated more feminine, so she's having massive success in her life and her relationships and her business. But recently we're like, no, we're not turning off the masculine. And a lot of times I think a lot of people think that that's what we need to do, and that's not it. We need to keep all of that power to be successful. It's just the truth of who you are. We don't need to turn on something and off something else. This is about embracing all of it. So you can step into that next level of you being you and really rocking everything out. So, all right. Today has just been so powerful. So this fully aligned. I appreciate you so much for joining me today. This is amazing. Again, if you're on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe. If you like the content today, I will be throwing the link in the comments. And we've only got 2 weeks. It's a deadline. And so I'm super excited to get your application and look forward to talking to you soon. And remember, as always, you amazing, badass, powerful woman, you are enough. Now go out there and change the world.